told me never dance with the devil, you'll only find trouble. Well, trouble's just fine by me. You better ask somebody, cause trouble's my middle name. Say it. If you wanna see double, then jump out your bubble and sit through the shit with me. Looking at over the shovel, the shit's really hard to clean. The life that I've lived, the things that I've seen, the scars that I bear, the need to be king. The blood that I shed, the pain that I gave. I'm a motherfucking lion, ain't concerned with sheep. No disregard my discontent. No disregard all my disdain. No disregard my disconnection. This is my life and death, my legacy. I'm not just looking down the middle, spit you a riddle and see if you can keep this pace. Come and tell me all about it when you gave away your sight. So right, we'll better plug you a little to know you're just a fiddle and all you ever get is pain. Just another broken record you claim, but that shit's mine. Bow down. The life that I built, the world that I've seen, the scars that I've earned, the blood that I've cleaned. The more that I gave, the more the pain took. I tell you all about it, but it ruined the book. No disregard my discontent. No disregard all my restraint. No disregard my disconnection. This is my life and death, my legacy.
Can you guys hear me? Yes or no? Oh, I'm spinning again. Well, I don't know. Let me see. Let me see something. Johnny, yarrow. And isn't greasy, and its natural ingredients relieve burning, tingling, stabbing. Yes, you can hear me, guys. Here's what real customers are saying about Magnolia. Okay, can you hear me? It provided me with the only relief from my sciatica. All right, let me see. Can you hear me, guys? Okay, can you hear me? Hello, Allie. How are you? Barbara Buffalo, Donkey Dick, Texas Granny. Mr. X, Donkey, how are you? Yeah, we hear you now. Okay, cool. Yeah, so everybody, we're just, I just don't understand why, he's going real hard in the paint and stuff like that. And there's no reason for him to do it. There's no, what is the real reason why he's doing it? You know what I mean? It's just to me, he's just being a big old fucking fly that wants to be on a pile of shit. You know what I mean? Flies like shit. And well, let me read some of these off. Texas Granny coming in 99 cents 3 times. And then Barbara Buffalo came in $1. Thank you, Barbara Buffalo. And thank you, ladies, for all coming in here and showing love for the channel. I really appreciate that. Tell it, Johnny. And you want to go after people that just lost people, that lost somebody that passed away. You want to go after them. You don't have no fucking remorse. You don't have no fucking empathy. You don't have nothing like that. You're a hardest soul. You don't have no heart at all. And it's all you want to keep on doing is going after dead people. What the fuck, dude? Grow the fuck up, man. Be a man. Be a man and stop being a little boy. That's what little boys are doing. Keeps on fucking want to argue with people for no reason at all. The fight's over, Jim. The fight's over. There ain't nothing else that we can do. Yeah, you know what I mean? You're trying to go after my benefits. You know? Does that make you a superhero? Because you're going after my benefits? You know what? That's pretty low, man. Because you know what you reap is what you're going to be sowing. And that is the honest truth. You want to go ahead and go after people's families. You want to go after people's dead relatives. You want to go after people that ain't got no subject to you or ain't no matter to you. But I have been ignoring you, and this is the first time I have respond to you because you really are getting underneath my skin, and it's like you're a parasite, and you just want to keep it growing and keep it growing. You're a parasite. That's all you are. It's a fucking parasite. You must be pretty offhand to make people's lives miserable because your life is miserable. Don't do that. It's time to move on. Look, Mr. X is moving on. I'm trying to move on. Everybody's trying to move on, but you're the only one that doesn't want to move on. You want to keep it going. It's like really, really play me a fiddle now. How you doing, Mr. X?
Good. Yeah, I mean, I have told multiple people that if this continues, that I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. What I have done already before this started getting out of control, and I've told people like my parents and so forth, if this gets worse, the Band-Aid's going to get ripped off. There's 3 or 4 emails that are already done. 2 have been sent.
Right.
The first email was the email with Jim that breaks down everything from his marriage to Laura's marriage to Andrew, and that dynamic to her name change and all that. I have the email. Jim kept sending emails, kept harassing people. That was the first email that was sent out. See, it's like I say something and then prove it. I could say Jim got married on January 20th, 2023, then show the document. Going through, that was email number 1. Not a big deal. A lot of people already know that information, but I could see people like, and here's the thing too. None of this was sent to anybody like Leanne or Watcher Crazy. What happened, Johnny, is Jim started, I didn't even know this, started emailing people. And since I had them blocked, it was going into a spam folder. So it just didn't stop. So I put reply all, and I sent this first email out to everybody. Then he continued today, and he wouldn't stop. The second email added Tony Burnett, who is the woman that Jim has a child with, allegedly. I don't know. I've never met the people. I mean, I met Tony one time years ago, but never met the child, never met her since, yada, yada, yada. But a second email was sent out today after Jim continued to harass about how to serve Jim. And Jim's making up all this stuff I've heard, that he changed his address and this and that. I tell you this, if he changed his address to Canfield, Ohio, that's even better because it takes the Jim Terry Music equation out of it. See, here's the thing. I took a few of the emails that were out today, took them out, and I have 3 email addresses for Tony. She was added in, and the list, the dossier of how to serve Jim was sent.
Right.
Was finally, the Band-Aid was finally ripped off. And that's only just a tenth of it. That's only just a tenth of it. See, for a long time, and I'm not, because I'm not going to send any of this to the haters. They can go do the work. If you go and look up Jim Terry Music, and you go to the earliest picture of Jim Terry Music, Google Earth, there's a 2011 photo, and it shows a trailer directly behind the store. That trailer is where Jim was living rent-free. It's actually a double wide, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It doesn't exist. It hasn't been there in 10 plus years. I mean, if you look at the 2014 photos, it's gone. So that's why Jim was using Jim Terry Music as his address for all those years, because there was a domicile there for a number of years, for like 10 years. I think that thing existed from like maybe it was there for like 15 years or something. I know that when I actually had jobs. I worked at Home Shopping Network in 99 when I was in college. That was definitely there in 99. So it was probably there from like 99 to like 2012-ish.
Yeah.
So maybe 15 years. Jim completely destroyed it. That's where Jim was running those football pads and those all-star games out. That's where he got arrested out of. So I was told by Jim that his car insurance is so high. It's actually a truck. And he's got no van, by the way. His truck insurance is so high because Florida's a no-fault state, and he still had the ID. Well, Jim has sent me his ID when I helped him with stuff. Jim sent me his ID. Now, he's saying he's changed it. When we 1099'd him, we had to do it. Okay? So the fact of the matter is, and I'm not giving out any information that hasn't already been discussed 500 times, but Jim, unless he's changed in the last couple months, his address is that. So I just offered up the idea, go in there. Jim's dad will not take process service, and say, Jim Terry? And he's going to say yes, because that's his name too. And just say you've been served. Drop the papers on the floor, walk off. And that would be step one. See, you got to do to Jim what I did to Leanne. Serve her, subserve her if necessary, and let the court decide if that counts as a process service. Now, let's say Florida, like I said in this email, would probably not count that as a service. But we know that he's somewhere in Northeast Ohio. That's 100% documented. There's a thing that's called the area, the county Jim is in is the county that we were all born in, called Youngstown is in Mahoning County, just like Clearwater is in Pinellas County, or Playa Vista is in Los Angeles County, or Las Vegas is in Clark County. I think it's actually Paradise, but I don't know if it's Paradise County or just the it might be. I don't know. I have to go back. But anyways, here, listen to this. So that would be step one. Step two, I took a screen grab of the address that everybody's been talking about that Jim lives at, and I'm being careful, Johnny, so nobody tries to strike you. But yeah. And if you look at Laura's wife's. Okay, there's a thing in Mahoning County called JIZnet. Now, not jizz like sperm, but GIS, JIZnet, and it is the breakdown of who owns what. Well, all you got to do is put her name in. And if you put her married name in, Laura C., which you guys know what that last name is, you will see that she owns that property. In fact, on the JIZnet Mahoning County site, GISnet Mahoning County site, you could even see it's a long rectangle. And that long rectangle is where Jim was doing those lives in the woods with the pump-up tent. There are areas that people, if they feel necessary to serve, that you can't really go on in any of the – it's like a county road. You can't really park on that. But there are streets above it and below it, one of which you could see Jim's front yard or his wife's front yard, and the backyard right from the road, and they couldn't stop you from being on like this little side street. Jim's wife does work a job. In fact, I kind of forgot about it, but it was verified today by Big Ups. When Big Ups met Jim at that rest area, Big Ups saw Laura. You could see Big Ups state, and if I'm not mistaken, Watch Your Crazies chat, that woman is the woman that was in the picture that they showed on Watch Your Crazies. She was wearing scrubs at the time. Now, I was always told that she was kind of some kind of customer service rep at a car dealership or this or that. Maybe she got into something else. But here's the fact. She's got to come out of that house to work. And it's documented that Jim is married to her. Okay? So all you got to do is serve her. Serve her for Jim. So it's better if Jim is saying that, hey, Jim Terry Music, you serve them both. That's what I would do. I'd drop it there. and I'd get somebody. And then the other thing is, don't forget, Laura's kids are not Jim's kids. Those are Andrew's kids. That's the guy that she cheated on with Jim, and then Jim went back with her. Okay. Which, by the way, in one of the emails I show, when they got married in 2002, with their bread company that was in the newspaper up there called The Vindicator. That's the Youngstown newspaper. All this stuff that proves all this. In 2018, when Jim was here, their dissolution of marriage in The Vindicator. And then Jim is up there in 2018. She changes her last name from his last name to Terry in 2020. But the interesting thing is, if you look up that Jiznet property site, it says Laura, the previous married name. So this proves to me this. She purchased that house between 2018 and 2020 because she changed her last name to Terry at the end of 2020. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's the end of 2020. So at some point she purchased that. So the old name, the ex-husband's last name, her first name and the ex-husband's last name that starts with a C and ends with an A, is on that property. Jim's not on that property. Well, here's the thing. If she has been with Jim and she's changing her last name to Terry in 2020, she's had 6 years to change that. Well, they get married in 2023. This is verified via the Clark County website. And these emails that I've sent out also have proof of, like, here's the hotel room that I paid for Jim when he was at the Excalibur. And here's me forwarding the email to Jim. Well, why else would I'd be like, let's just say in November, I'm going to be in Vegas, as an example, Johnny. Well, why would I forward you my email of my itinerary if I'm going to be there, unless I'm getting a hotel room for you? You know what I mean? Like, there would be no reason for me to say, hey, listen, I'm staying at the Mandalay Bay. I'm going to send you my information where it shows how much it cost and everything. I send it to Jim because Jim's going to stay there. That puts Jim and her in Las Vegas at the same time that there is a Jim Terry and a Laura Terry that get married. Don't forget, she changed her name to Terry 3 years before that. That's why it sounds like, and there's no Terry cousin, no female. There are no cousins by the name of Terry, by the way. And there's not a female cousin. So all of this is verified via court paperwork, public records in Mahoning County, newspaper articles. I just put it all together. And what I said is, I don't want to, like, here's the information. All Jim's got to do is what you said, Johnny. All he's got to do is stop. Yeah. All he's got to do is stop doing his harassment. Well, he made a huge, huge mistake today. He made a couple mistakes. First of all, he has been saying that he's going to play just like he did with me in the San Diego thing. He was going to play Lay-in Pipe's court case. We took that and we sent it over to the assistant district attorney. They are now aware of it. I mean, far be it from me to help Lay-in Pipe because he's a piece of shit. But I said, here's Jim's information. Here's his 2 addresses. Here's his 2 phone numbers. I just want you to be aware that this website is planning on playing it. It's already being promoted. I don't know the rules in Orange County, Florida. I mean, this could get confusing because Orange County, California, and Orange County, Florida. Ironically, Disney's in both. But Orange County, Florida, I don't know what the rules of this court is, and I don't know how, but he is telling people that he's going to disseminate this in some way. I want you to be aware. So that was done today. In addition to that, Jim also called, and this is where he fucked up big time. I've been talking about, Jim has been trying to reach out to an old landlord, and the guy's still a buddy of mine. Jim calls this old landlord today, and the guy calls me and tells me the story. Jim calls from the 618 number, says his name is Eugene Terry, lies about who he is, and it says he wants to rent a place, and then he starts talking about the Mr. X. Okay. And the guy says, the Mr. X isn't here. I don't know what you're talking about. And Jim began to threaten him. Jim has now threatened an LAPD officer. I have said over and over again that that man over there is an LAPD officer. That man has filed a report on Jim today. Jim threatened an LAPD officer. Now, here's the thing. What does it mean? Or does that mean that, Jim made a phone call and they're going to go pick him up in Ohio? Oh, and by the way, in the email, I also document a few places that Jim frequents. Hollywood Casino, Wheeling. There's a few other casinos that he goes to that I'm aware of. I'm not going to release those yet because I'm not going to put all that information out there. So all this information, by the way, except for these phone calls to an old landlord, was sent over to Tony. She's got all of it now. And I told Jim, I said, listen, when Jim sent out those emails, it was sent out immediately. It was already written. It was already complete with photographs, Google images. In fact, even a road, because if you look at that Canfield, Ohio address, it's blurred out. So I got arrows pointing to, like, if you have your car sit here, you could see in the backyard, you could see in the front yard from this position. And now that I say it, Jim's going to be looking out the window every 5 seconds at this area. And at some point, Laura's going to have to come out of that house and go to work. You get her, you serve her. And that's if Jim is, so either Jim's lying or they. See, here's the great thing about the process service. Look at Leanne. What's the noise in the background, by the way?
Oh, hold on. That's my TV. That's my TV. Hold on.
Yeah, because it's distracting.
Sorry about that.
Sorry. That's all right. So here's the thing. You do the process service the best you can to somebody who's eluding, and you let the court decide. That's what we did to Leanne. That's why she's still putting out videos and shit like this to this day, because she got served. Now, Jim said that I wouldn't have anybody on XNN that is from the movie. I did on Friday. He harassed that person. Jim said that I would not go live at my property. I did on Saturday. 20-minute notice. I said I was going to go there up front, did a nearly 18-minute show in 106-degree weather. Nobody showed up. And by the way, in some of the areas that I stay, like around the Antelope Valley Town Center, we're talking, that's like 7 miles from the entrance of my property. So like if you were in the main town center, okay, or even unless you were like out near El Mirage Dry Lake Bed, like 240th and J, like super far east, Lancaster. But like the town, Lancaster and Palmdale, are really more around the 14 freeway. As you spread out east, it gets shittier. And a little bit west is the newer area where the prison would be. So if you were in any one of those areas and I gave you, and there's not a lot of traffic out there like there is in LA, and I gave you a 20-minute notice and I went nearly 20 minutes live. And obviously after I was done, I was still there for like another couple minutes. So it's like 40 to 45 minutes. You could probably get from anywhere one of those places, especially if you know where, you know where the entrance is. I mean, Danielle's been in front of the entrance on one of those shows. Anybody could have gotten to it if they were within anywhere in the Antelope Valley, unless they were like somewhere super far east, like where we did the car flip. So here's the thing. The people Jim is saying that are after me, there's no proof or no documentation. Like Jim keeps talking about this guy, Jay, that he says is after me. Well, all you got to do is go to LA County. There, it costs $1. You can look up his name and you can see that he's got nothing current. In fact, the only thing that he has underneath his name was a lawsuit against him, which I don't hear Jim talking about this. And I don't know what happened, why this lawsuit happened, but he was a defendant in 2001. So as of me last checking it a couple weeks ago, there's nothing new. I don't believe any of those people are at. Why would that guy? Jim, just hear me out because I'm not stupid here. Why would that guy who doesn't have a contract, the movie's already released, he showed up, put his hands on me at a festival. We got it on tape. He was banned from that festival. Like I said, biggest thing is he's got no contract. And then he was served a cease and desist. And he's going to continue. He's a millionaire. He has $1 million house. and we could sue him for business interference. We can counter, and he's got, like, I get back to, he's got no contract. See, I don't, and like, what would he sue for? The movie's released, you can't change it. What would be his losses? See, I can show how he damaged our IMDb, he damaged this, and by me saying these things, Jim might take a clip of this and show it to him. But the thing is, I'm not looking to sue him. I'm not looking to do anything to that man. I don't want that man in my life. That's why I didn't invite him to the film festival. The guy's horrible. I didn't want him there. But the moment that I see that there is a potential pending lawsuit coming against the Mr. X, we're going to countersue him. And he's got a lot more money to lose. He's got way more money to lose. And we have the documentation already set up. Don't forget, he had his wife do some kind of bullshit restraining order, which was thrown out. No evidence. Sound familiar? Yeah. So, I mean, it's just the same old bullshit over and over and over again. And I have more information and more emails. Because, like, here's the interesting thing. The haters are repeating, and I don't like this, but they're not getting in a situation, Johnny, where they're answering to Jim. They're now just taking the proof that I've provided, and I didn't provide them. I didn't include like Leanne or Watch Her Crazy or any of them in these emails. I just responded to the email. Like, it went to Angel Gotti, it went to people like that, and I added Tony in. And by the way, speaking of Tony, let's make this ultra clear. And I also put this in the documentation. Jim is under the false impression that, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I always like to preface it that even when we were going in the court case down in San Diego, I used to always say, hey, maybe I lose. Maybe I lose. I don't know. I had a feeling I would win, but maybe you lose. And I don't know the situation 100% by Jim, but I know Jim well enough over the last 4 years that he's extremely nervous and extremely upset and extremely concerned about that Tony woman and the alleged bastard. I never met him. Nobody in my family's ever met her. No, they've never reached out in any way, and I don't want to talk to them in any way either. But I have now provided the information. Now, here's the thing. The Band-Aid has been ripped off, but here's where Jim is mistaken. He thinks that if this girl, this alleged girl, is 18, that he's 100%. He used to call me up, dude, and be like, 627 more days, dude. And I go, till what? He goes, till the bastard's 18. He would call me and tell me all, and I'd chuckle, and I'd be like, okay, whatever. I don't, it has nothing to do with me. People I've never met. I don't fucking know them. My friends are out here. The people in my life are, the people who are, saying, hey, Mr. X, let me take you out for your birthday. Hey, I want to, I got a buddy of mine who went to that Pasadena Rose Bowl. And he's like, hey, I'm going out to the fair. Do you want to meet up with me? I mean, those are like the people I've known and I've known that guy for like 20 something years. And by the way, he was in Samurai Priest. I could have him come up, but he is going to be harassed. Like I could continuously have people come up. So here's getting back to the point with Jim. There is a clause. Florida's got different rules for paternity. And there is a clause in there that Jim refuses to see. And it is the fact that if you are a man that was never married and can never prove that you lived with a mother, that mother can come after you at any time after that child is over 18 years old. So now what that mother is, Tony, allegedly. Is the mother have the wherewithal and the money and all that kind of stuff to be able to do anything? I don't believe so. She was going through bankruptcies. She was using free services. I'm getting some interference. What's that?
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
And if I need to stop, just let me know, because I don't want to. If you got something coming up.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, it's my fault.
So the information is this, and the people in the chat can tell you this too. So you can see what Barbara Buffalo says.
Uh-huh.
Bring that up. That is correct, Mr. X, 100%, and I'm not an attorney. So without question, after that child is 18, if Tony wants to seek the money, and you could go and look this up. Jim said, I'm going to go in front of Jim Terry Music when she's turned 18, and I'm going to pound my chest. That woman could wait till she's 23, 24, and it goes back a lot further.
Yes,
that's what Jim has failed to see. And there's other people who are agreeing with me and saying, yes, I see that too. So he's in a tough spot. So he's saying that I'm hiding and I'm thieving and I'm stealing and I'm doing this. You can take that down if you want. I don't want to keep her name up there too much because I don't want her to get any more harassed.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Jim's not out of the woods. And Jim will continue to hide. So you're going to hear stuff like Jim come up here and say, not here, but on the internet, and say things like, well, here's what I'm going to do live from behind my paywall, and I'm going to beat my chest, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. He's not going to do any of that. See, the great thing about it is, you remember that movie Casino?
Yeah.
There, Robert De Niro was playing a character who he had like gambling charges, believe it or not, of all things on him, and he wasn't allowed to run a casino. And they kept saying, well, if you change your title to food and beverage manager, they put you at the bottom of the bottom of the pile. It starts over again. See, Jim is at the very top of the pile. They're looking at him. And here's the crazy thing. It's not Watch You're Crazy. It's not Tony. There are other people that in the last 6 weeks that are clearly on Jim's trail, and he knows what I'm talking about. So it's not the Candace Howards. It's not. See, that's what I'm getting back to the Tony thing is this. Tony, is like a Candace Howard, is like Watch You're Crazy, is bankruptcies, can't afford to, court paperwork, can't afford an attorney, all that same shit, right? So the thing is, she could never do anything. Well, she's got every piece of evidence, every piece of documentation now. And somebody somewhere along the line would say, well, listen, we've been trying to serve this guy for years. Why would somebody who's verifiably married to this woman who is in Ohio not live with her? That's even if his address is at Jim Terry Music. So it's one or the other. My suggestion would be to serve both. That's how you would do it. And the only reason I'm saying this is because after, dude, how many days has it been since June 15th? June 15th.
Almost 2 months.
Okay, so we're getting there.
Yeah.
It's been
a month. It's been a month and a week.
It's been 50 days. 50 days have gone by, and Jim is not stopping. He's not stopping. And here's the thing. For anybody who's listened to the Mr. X on XNN, and we'll get to you in a second, Leanne. We'll get to you in a second. Don't let me forget about that, Johnny.
I won't.
And I'll write it in. If you heard the OTT, I didn't back down to Jim. I've always, say, hey, I think that this content's wrong. I don't like this. I don't like that. But a lot of times I stayed agnostic with his content. But you could hear me on XNN before the second time. Well, you can't see it now because Jim lost that too. It was a bad idea for the Janelle thing. And then that fell apart, which, by the way, Janelle's on that email list. I mean, if Jim's sending out pictures and stuff, I'm sure Angel Gotti and Janelle really care what my girlfriend's number is. Like they're going to call. You know what I mean? Like they give a fuck. But everything so it's like, okay, you got a picture of my girlfriend. So what? I mean, it's not like she hasn't been on NCIS New Orleans. I mean, who gives a fuck? But they want that picture of that Muppet-looking wife that he has. And by the way, the photo that they're posting of her, which I did not give to any of them, I'm not part of that, is actually an old photo. I saw her in 2023, and she looks worse than that. Because she's a cigarette smoker. She doesn't go to the gym. She's not eating healthy, that kind of a thing. So, yeah, I mean, it's really... Yeah, that's it, Donkey Dick. Is what I was doing was helping run an OTT, helping run what I could, helping Jim make money. And even in what's weird about Monday night and all those, because you had some problems at the beginning of your show, right?
Yeah.
And I had problems. I got an email from YouTube saying that there were all kind of issues they said they were still going on throughout the weekend and into today. Now, my question is, We know, I think Barbara Buffalo, and maybe I'll talk to Barbara Buffalo on XNN on Friday. Barbara Buffalo had 3 devices playing. One had 48, one had 62, and I think one had 28 live viewers. And then when it's over, when it was all said and done, I could see my numbers, because you know how you can see the analytics. It said 202. But here's the thing. And I never said that when we were live. How is it that that show right there was my 3rd highest monetized show in 50 days? Out of like 13 or 14 shows, that was my 3rd highest monetized show. Now, somebody might say, well, Mr. X, Jim was also on at the same time, and the people who like you were giving you money to stick it to Jim. Maybe that's a fair assumption. Maybe that's true. But without question, Jim has lost 80 to 85% of his income. It's gone. It's gone. You could tell. And because somebody buys, like let's say you make $100, right?
Yeah.
So $100, 5 goes into 100. How many times? 20.
20.
Yeah. And so with that being said, those 20 memberships are people like the person who's buying the memberships already has the membership. They're buying the membership for fence riders like Dale C. Now, maybe Dale C this time paid his membership, but those 20 people, let's just say 18 or 19 of them, are never going to come back. What's going to happen is what's happened to me with Angel Gotti or some of these things. Like, I don't really buy memberships. I get one for free. I'll check out some of the stuff. And then after it's gone, you kind of lose it, right? So look at Donkey Dick, what he says at the bottom. Bring that up real quick.
Okay.
The number, what right afterwards, aren't accurate. Always YouTube verifies them over the next 24 hours. So that's why you will see them go up and down sometimes. That's right. So, but my thing is, look at the views. The views of that show are like, it had like a couple thousand views. I mean, it's like 1,000, 1,200, 1,300. Now, somebody could say, well, Mr. X, somebody's buying you views too. But there were 32 super stickers. Those weren't fake. And if I added it all up, there were 18 different people that between Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, and a couple of them didn't want to be named. One of them didn't want me to read it off at all. That sent money. So 18 different people sent money. 32 of them were just super stickers. My net on Monday show was higher than any gym show Jim's had. Gross in the last 50 days. It's a fact. Because if it wasn't a fact, then why has he been so wild? Well, here's what I'm hearing. This is what I don't know. I can't verify this. So I'm going into the weeds on things here. I'm hearing things aren't going very well with him and Laura. That's what I've heard. Like, if this escalates anymore, and forget, she owns the house. She's the one with the job. She's the one with a newer vehicle. She's the one that controls everything. I mean, I've had people here that are in this chat that said Jim was literally, and Barbara Buffalo, you're the one who told me this, so I don't think you mind me saying this, that she would talk. Jim's talking about washing dishes. Jim was washing dishes because he's like the housewife. Tell me if I'm wrong, Barbara Buffalo. When Jim was talking to her months and months and months ago, Jim would cook her dinner and then wash the dishes because he's got no fucking job. Now they're saying I'm washing dishes and that somebody that has worked at Hilton, Jim's saying, is saying that I'm a busboy or a dishwasher or something. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's not true. It's a lie. Prove it. You don't work for that fucking company anymore. Prove it. Prove it. And here's the thing. If it is that Monica F lady, all we got to do is, as a tenured employee, contact Hilton Corporate Security because they have a big deal about corporate security.
Yeah.
If that person, and I don't believe that person is, I think Jim's lying. I don't even know if it's Monica F. It might be a different Monica. if that Monica has any kind of ability to look stuff up, and I don't know, because I don't know that part of it. If one hotel could look up another hotel and this and that, I don't know how that works. She'd get fired in a heartbeat. I know that they are really against that. So, and it doesn't hurt me. I'm not there anymore. What's it going to fucking do to me? You know, PTO, all that, all cashed out. What do I give a fuck? Hey, Ace's mama. So all that being said, the information in the documentation, I mean, if you got connects with Tony, which by the way, those 3 emails that went to Tony, none of them bounced back. They all worked. You know, so she has the information now. And I've heard creepy little stories of Jim watching, and this is just recent stuff, Jim watching when he was in Florida, that girl from a distance. And somebody told me, like, oh, I think Jim was watching because if he didn't have to pay the money, he would like to be a daddy. And I told this person, I said, you're fucking crazy. He's watching to see if Tony's got a ring on, what kind of car she's got, if she's with a dude, you know, what kind of shoes the kids have on. Are they nice? Are they shitty? He's trying to, and the truth is that woman doesn't have any money. So that's where these haters would screw up, Johnny, is they don't have any money and they would dump all their problems onto this woman. So it's like dumping all the work onto this woman. And we don't know. She's a liar. Tony's a liar too. She's a piece of shit. Okay. And then they even gave her money at one point. So now she's going to do it. I heard Watch Her Crazy paid for something at one point or something like that. You know, I don't 100% know. I mean, I'm obviously not involved with any of those people. I won't even speak in any form of communication to Leanne or Watch Her Crazy. I know Leanne has invited me on his show. I know Eric Foss has invited me on. Nope. Well, they don't even have the pleasure of speaking to me. Fuck them. I don't want to speak to those people or go back and forth with people. I'll come here and I'll go on my show. That's where I'll go. So Jim's in a real tough position because there are now 3 groups looking at him. You see, at first, it was just that Candace Howard loser group, right? And they really couldn't do anything to him because if they could have done anything to him, they would have. And the best thing that they could have done to him for their benefit, and I do still think it's bullshit, is the Rolling Stone article. They got that Rolling Stone article, and that definitely put a dent in Jim's quote-unquote PI career. No question. It made him a streamer. And by that making him a streamer, he actually ended up making more money that way. So, and he, for a couple years, 3 or 4 years, he was set up within the structure and the confines of a legitimate business. So he's not in the confines of that anymore. I'm not saying what he's doing is legitimate or illegitimate. I'm just saying that setup is now gone. Now some hater's going to come along and say, well, Mr. X owned everything. No, that's not what I'm saying. So Jim's got the Candace Howard era. And I don't think a lot of those people, their kids are, you know, that situation's all over. He's got the Tony situation. And actually there's 4. He's got the YouTube haters, the Watch Her Crazies, the Leannes, and they'll talk to Jim. They hate Jim so much, but they'll talk to Jim and battle him on these shows and scream at each other on their day off on a Saturday. I don't think any of them work, but on a Saturday morning, because they're trying to extract information out of him or just go at him. They're not friends of his, and he's certainly not friends of theirs. So the new group is not, I wouldn't consider a hater group, are people that are from the OTT, people who contributed a lot of money to Jim, people who are smarter, have more money, have more means, have more education, and everything else. And that group, and I don't know this for sure, that's the group that Jim is really scared about. Because I believe, and I don't know, I'm not 100% sure, nobody's telling me anything, they got eyes on Jim. They got eyes on him, and he knows that's a fact because I heard Bob discussing it, something about they knew what restaurant Jim went into. I mean, hey, Jim's a private eye. They can have a private eye follow him. Now, is that new group the former people that Jim calls like Barbara Buffalo, somebody like that? Yeah, call her son's in the hospital. You're gonna call that Texas Granny? She's only helped. Kathy Fagan helped you get a van. You go. I mean, it's like all these people. Tennessee Gambler, he didn't do nothing. There's just so many people that he went after, and there's a lot more that I'm not naming. Those are just a few off the top of my head. Johnny, you're another one.
Yeah.
I mean, those are just a few off the top of my head. Dana Nicole, it goes on and on and on.
PZ.
And the people that I'm naming in that newer era, I wouldn't consider any of them haters. They just want Jim to stop. Just go do your content. Leave us alone, which he won't. But the repercussions of that is that group. See, that group has the privy, unlike those other groups, of the direct information of the Mr. X. See, Candace Howard, I don't recall ever having a conversation with that woman ever. I don't think I ever spoke to her. I think in one time in my life, I had an off-air conversation with Watcher Crazy. I don't ever recall. Maybe I did speaking to Leanne off-air. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But like that hater group, Twin Mama, they don't have the Mr. X. And of all of those people, I'm the only one who knows Jim. I mean, I was there in these spots. So what we're asking is, I heard Jim attacked Bob the other day. And that's why Bob took off. I don't know if it's true or not because I can't listen. I can't keep up with all this bullshit that's going on. But these people have the means. See, unlike the Candace Howard group, unlike the Watcher Crazy group, see, it's like each group became a little bit more. And now they're dealing with a group, and I'm not heading anything. You're sending an email to me. I'm not part of it. I'm just sending an email back. If you wouldn't have sent you contacted Sam Hoger, you contacted Eric Spudik. They're not even involved in any of this. You're contacting people's dads. You're contacting Ken Ferret. And he keeps saying something stupid about getting a movie and replaying it. You hear this, Johnny? You hear about this?
Yeah, he's talking about your new movie.
How is that possible?
That he's going to talk to all the distributors and stuff like that, and like whoever you give your video to, like the distributors or something like that. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, let me tell you how it works. Depending, I don't even know when it's the shooting of it's going to be, and it's not like it's a short process. I mean, it could take a couple years. Mm-hmm. I have no idea. Anybody that I work with, typically how it works in the industry is they give you an advance. Let's just say, for example, I'm just going to do this in small increments, but like, let's just say, for example, a movie's $100,000. You could do it let's do $1 million movie. Okay. Mm-hmm. And they say, we're going to give you not $1 million. I know it sounds weird. You spent $1 million. We're going to give you $500,000, but you own this percentage of it. Like we're going to split it 50-50 after that. So let's just say, for example, you could do it in increments of 100,000 or 500,000 or $1 million or whatever you might, apparently I got 150,000 cash just sitting here right next to me. So it's going to be more than that. I've already spent that much. So, because I've been building this for years, somebody's going to come along and put down an MG, a money guarantee advance, and they're going to get an anonymous phone call from Jim Terry, the guy with the Rolling Stone article, the guy with the arrests. The guy is that, everybody says scam to scam, gamble to gamble. That's what the people say that know him. You guys have never heard that term until I said it. That's what people in his family say about him. Okay. Unless something's run for him legitimately, he goes off. And even if it is, he still tries to snake a little bit more out. Look what he did with the van. Look what he did with that shirt at Disney. And nobody was okay with that. Nobody was saying that was good. I say, what the fuck are you doing? That's what was going on behind the scenes, Leanne. Nobody was agreeing with that. Not that anybody owes you a fucking answer. So he's in a tough spot now, because here's the thing. I can prove this to you. If they put my girlfriend's photo up, there's not really that many comments. In fact, there's comments that she's beautiful. There's not really that many comments. Man, when they put up Jim's wife, there's fucking 20 comments, and they're all horrible. They're all slaughtering him. That proves to me that they dislike Jim more than me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that they dislike Jim more than me, and they want Jim more than me. And we're talking about the hardened haters. So he's in a tough spot, because he's not making any money. He knows, and I know and I'm not trying to say this as a disrespectful way. Johnny, you're making more money than him, without question. You are making more money than the mighty Jim Terry, no question. And here's how I can prove it. First of all, you've been monetized. He's not. He just got monetized. And I've never seen proof that he was reinstated. That leads me to believe that he has, and I don't believe that he's been reinstated in check systems either. That leads me to believe, me being Inspector Clouseau, that Jim is having Laura or somebody else's bank account on it. See, and notice that, like, I'm not talking to Jim. I'm talking to all of you guys, and I'm telling you what the facts are. Not yelling, not getting animated, not calling anybody. I'm just saying these are the facts. So Jim's got now 4 different groups. And that doesn't count like the indoor and arena football groups who don't like him either. Now, I'm not really associated with any group. Even the new group that still watches XNN and watches you, Johnny, I'm not in any kind of private Discord. I'm not giving any kind of private information to anybody like that. If they're on that email, they're on that email. And the only reason I'm responding to that email is because Jim sent one first. All he's got to do is stop. It's all he's got to do is stop and just disappear. But getting back to the point, I believe that things are going bad up there for him. Because if Laura gets rid of him, he's got nowhere to go. He can't come here. He can't come here. He couldn't afford to come here. Really, nobody wants anything to do with him in Florida. He can't do business in Pinellas County because of his past business dealings. They got their eyes on him. Where would he go? He'd have nowhere to go. And that's my concern in all this is if something bad up there happens, which I'm not even privy to the information, I don't want to see him hurt himself or hurt somebody else over stupid YouTube. You know, and it's because he won't stop. And I'm telling you, if you are, and I'm not talking, now I'm going to talk to you, Jim. I'll talk to you if it's somebody like Sugar Plum who's listening to me and relaying the information to Jim. You do something to me and I will respond. You harass somebody in my life, I'm going to respond with documentation. End of story. There's no question that they are vastly more interested in what Jim has got going on, in getting him, not necessarily show-wise, because they don't really watch his show. They don't give him any money anymore. All the money people are all gone from his show. He's lost virtually everybody. I mean, he's got a few nice people over there. We always talk Noodle Salad, Queen of Ossian. But let's not forget that this group here, a lot of the people that Jim trashed are the people when Queen of Ossian was going to leave the OTT, they paid for her to stay on the OTT.
Yeah, we did.
Yep. So, I mean, that's the only reason she's still around is because this group that's still hanging around you and me paid for her to be around.
Yep.
And that's how much we thought of her. That's how much we like her. And we still don't have a problem with her, but that's just a fact. So there's no screaming here. I've always said that my show's a safe place. Johnny's show is a safe place. Jim's in a tough spot because if that woman, here would be the easiest thing. I believe this. That woman's not going to put Jim in front of her kids. Those kids are now college age and older and this and that. She doesn't need Jim for money. She's got her own job. She owns the house. You can look it up. It's documented that she didn't even update her last name to Terry. Unless it happened in the last couple weeks and it's not updated. Me looking it up last night says it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Jim's not listed on that. She owns that house, and Jim happens to live there, almost like a housewife. That's the truth. He's not paying a mortgage. She owns it. Now, would he maybe kick in a light bill or something like that? Maybe. So I think what's going to happen now that the information has been disseminated, and I'm not disseminating anything to haters, the Jim's got to watch his back everywhere. He's and not physically. I've told people on shows, you process serve Jim, somebody Jim's size or bigger, he'll back down to them like he did at that guy at the where Lips was at down in Battle Creek. Like if the guy's like an ex-military guy or just his size or bigger, he'll back down. Now, Andrew Kutica, the ex-husband, is like a skinny, small version of Jim. Jim will be tough around him, but he won't do that to people that are at like me, his size or bigger. He won't do that. Here's the proof. Jim won't show up anywhere in person. He never did what I did to Fumble Nuts, which is calling him out and saying, I'm here right now. He's hid. He's hid for years. That's not a secret. I mean, that is a repeat. But and so he's got 4 different groups on the outside and on the inside. From what I understand, the information that's being fed to me, things aren't going well there. Because see, now his income is so far lower, Johnny. See, like with you, like we've talked about you and PZ's situation.
Yeah.
If you make $500 or $200, is there much of a difference for you? Like that, it's not going to change your life either way, right?
No.
Now, if you make $5,000 in a month, that could change something, or $2,000 or something like that. But there's not that much difference over a couple $100. But for Jim, there's a massive difference over a couple $100 because, like you don't have car insurance, I'm assuming, right?
No, I don't.
Jim has the highest car insurance in a no-fault state. Jim has got to pay for robotext. Jim, obviously, I thought he was paying for StreamYard. Somebody told me. I saw a clip of his show tonight. It looked like the free StreamYard was back.
Mm-hmm.
He's got cell phones. So he's got different bills that are going to add up and verified. So, I mean, he's got different scenarios where no matter what, he's got bills. And then eventually, if you're working and working and working and the wife's name is being put out there, her kids are being put out there, all because Jim won't stop. Sugar Plum, or for one of you people who listen to Jim or like Jim or talk to Jim, all you got to do is tell him to stop. If he stops calling people that are in hospitals, calling people, family members that have passed away and this and that, if he stops, none of these people are going to go track him down, but he won't. And he's not better for it. See, like in the Dylan Rounds scenario, he was better for it monetarily by responding. That 4 years has come and gone. See, people have gotten to see what Jim is like at his very worst. And let me tell you this, over the last 50, maybe the last even 100 days, Jim has been way worse than he was in the previous 3 years. He'd have his outbursts here and there, but the last 100 days have been bad from Jim. He got thrown off that team. He got replaced by a kid that's 22 years old. They didn't win the championship. He said he would get the OTT going. He didn't. He's gotten squashed on YouTube, just getting recently monetized. He lost 6 weeks of income. 6 weeks of income. He's bragging about 100 subscribers or 120 subscribers or whatever. What about the last 6 weeks of income in every show that you could have been earning money? Now you might, and what about me logging into your YouTube and you had $25 or $50? No, I'm sorry, logging into your StreamYard. Let me correct myself. Eric Foss had nothing. And I made the mistake saying, oh, he's not monetized. He was monetized. Nobody thought to send him anything. So I know Jim's not going to listen. And now he's got a scenario where he threatened a police officer in California. It keeps getting worse for him. And I was talking about sliding your name to the top of the pile or the bottom of the pile. The only reason those haters went after me is because I propped up Jim, and I'm not around Jim anymore. I haven't talked to him since the 16th of June, 49 days ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything that has been against me in the last 120 days down in San Diego, I got slid to the bottom of the pile. It's over with. It's over with. You could refile anything you want to file, reconsider whatever you want to have reconsidered. It's over with. I won.
Mm-hmm.
So like you could try, but it's a dead end. If you're going to put that effort into anybody, and this is what would be my thinking for the most, the non-lazy, or if you're going to do this same effort that they did down in San Diego, wouldn't you do that on Jim now? You've already lost to me. Like if you're going to continue that fight, wouldn't you go after Jim? That's who you want. And I think that's what's happening. So let me get to this real quick, Johnny. And I know I'm monopolizing the show here, but it's a free yard, Barbara Buffalo. Okay. I saw that Leanne put out a post. I think it's since been deleted. And she says all of a sudden Mr. X is a good guy for Cash Apps. Mr. X has always been a good guy. Yeah, I guess you haven't seen the 440 shows of XNN, 430 or 400. I've always been a nice guy. You're the cunt. Okay? And that's why you got sued. So you're talking about the greatest hits of the Mr. X. I got a question for this chat. I'm going to put this question out there, and if you know the answer, this is a response to Leanne. She's talking about going after somebody who's a missing child and making fun of him on Halloween. So here's my question to this chat. When I did that first Halloween show, what was I dressed as? Does anybody remember what I was dressed as? The green and white shirt, the one with
BJ? What's her name's son?
Okay, no. What is that? What is, like, when you wear that jumpsuit? You
are a prisoner.
Okay, so somebody who is a prisoner, Leanne, is not missing. In fact, of Ashley Martin, Candace Cooley, and Candace Howard, the only person who got their son back was our friend. Candace Howard. I'm forgetting her name. She got her son back. So that kid was not missing. Leanne, you're sticking up. The reason I was wearing, and that, by the way, I would say that's one of my most proud moments one of my best shows as Mr. X, the character. Mr. X, the character, was doing a parody of a murderer. I was dressed up as a prisoner because that guy murdered his stepdad. But let me guess this. Leanne's either, you hear people say, well, that's the drunk talking. She's typing, it's because she's drunk. Well, it's either her being drunk or it's the process service that happened to her that's talking. Either the service is talking or the alcohol's talking. It's one of the two. Tabor Michael murdered his stepfather, and when I dressed up and did a parody on a private network in character as Mr. X, that was one of my best shows that I ever did. Jim did a great job hosting it. BJ was there. We had a great time. And we didn't even really reference him that much. So I'm not embarrassed of that. You don't think that my girlfriend doesn't know about that? You don't think that she doesn't know about that? Now, that might not be her cup of tea for content, just like some of Jim's content is not my cup of tea. But so going out in Leanne's stupid, either drunk or process service mind, she's so stupid that doing a parody of a guy who's a murderer, and by the way, he's not a missing person. He's not missing. You could find him in prison. Is worse. Doing a parody is worse than the actual murder. Is that a straw man argument, as our friend Danielle would say? No, it's not. That's why that show was done, because that woman attacked us. So there's nobody that's embarrassed there of that. And then you also said something about a book sale or something. And you're going back to that one. Talk about repeating stuff. They're repeating shit all the time, Johnny. Johnny, I'm going to bring something up.
She also showed I think it was her that she showed the pictures of your girlfriend too.
Yeah, and I'm aware of that, and I think that post is gone. And really, there wasn't really that bad. By the way, I want to say hello to Spanky coming in, $30 OTT dues. But I want to show you. She's talking about a book sale, which I believe has to do with Confluence. Is that correct? And is that what she's talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me, if I could, I'll prove this wrong. And I'm not going to ask the question. I'm going to have you guys do it. Hold on. By the way, Steffi, want to say what's up to her. She sent me a message at 10:40. She enjoyed the XNN the other night. Here we go. Give me a second here. I'm going to bring it up. So, Leanne, I want you to see something. So, the first show that you discussed, the Halloween show that you discussed, I've already decimated you in that. The kid isn't missing. And by the way, Candace Howard, Jim does not owe any money to Candace Howard. Somebody else paid for that. That's been repeated and discussed, and I'll even stick up for Jim on that one. Jim does not owe any money to Candace Howard. But I want to show you this. So we could see books and this and that and all that, and like I said, shoved to the bottom of the pile. Johnny, bring this up if you could. Monkey?
Okay.
Leanne, I want you to read something. This is public information. You ready? What does this say? You're talking about a book? Well, that whole thing has already been tried. What does this say right here, John? I'm going to highlight it. What does that say right there? Can you see it?
No, hold on.
I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to spell it out. DENIED.
Denied.
Denied. Leanne, you're bringing up a moot point. Your evidence that you're talking about, so I'm, just so people know, I'm responding to Leanne. The reason I have to bring this up again is because Leanne is bringing up information about this court case. Well, what I see right here, Leanne, is I see denied. What I see right here is I see they lost. What I see right here is Mr. X won. So whatever evidence that you think it obviously wasn't good enough to get a restraining order. So you're just using stuff. Well, here's the thing. You know what wasn't ended? The case between your husband, you didn't see that one all the way through, and the niece. You didn't go to the end of that. That case is ended. You see it there. You see it on the public records. Now, you brought this up before any kind of petitioner goes out there and says this is new evidence or something like that and tries to go submit it. Leanne brings this up, and within the context of this, I'm allowed to respond. There is no TRO. There's no RO. There is no gag order or anything. It's over. That public record says it's denied. So any kind of this evidence of a book sale and this and that, a judge literally has heard it. This is funny, Johnny. A judge has heard this whole thing over 120 days. He goes, denied. And guess what happened when the judge heard about Tabor Michael? Go to prison. Go to prison, fucker. See ya. You're a murderer. Pled guilty. So, Leanne, what you're saying is not accurate. What you don't understand is over the 435 episodes of XNN, I've always been a nice guy. When there were things that were difficult in content that was difficult, I stood up. And you could watch her crazy has content on her show from the OTT where I'm arguing with Jim about it being a show about haters. I argued with Jim a lot. What's up, Spanky? Spanky, yeah, you weren't around that shooting up there, were you? Be careful up there. So, I mean, with that being said, every one of your points, either you're drunk or that is the process service talking. You can never take away the fact. It doesn't matter what you say. You could show up pictures of girlfriends and this and that, ones that are years old. You were stupid enough to have your daughter on your show. You were on Bob's show, excuse me. You were stupid enough to show a picture of your daughter in a hospital bed publicly on show. You were stupid, Bob's show. You were stupid enough to have your daughter come up on that show and bring up your grandkids on the show, which made them within the public sector. And then you were stupid enough to listen to Watch Her Crazy, similar to the people down in San Diego, and you got sued over it, and you didn't show up. It's not a repeat. You're saying this stuff, and I'm proving you wrong. And we heard all the bullshit, Leanne, on your show. Mr. X won't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom. What are you fucking talking about? There's nobody in streaming. Let me repeat this. Nobody in streaming. Go ask around. Go type it into YouTube. I've checked. That has beaten somebody in a small claims court. Beaten somebody. Try to find a YouTuber who has done a copyright claims board on somebody. I take it as a win because it ended your channel and you turned into a coward and didn't show up and you got your daughter subserved. That was a win for me. You and I told everybody you were going to opt out, and you did. That's being a coward. And on top of that, those two, the trifecta, the only person that anyone, you guys didn't even know what this term, just like you guys didn't know what the term OTT was, and I don't expect you to know what that was 3 or 4 years ago, until I said it 150 times or 1,000 times. Nobody, you didn't, because you're not in the industry over here. It's no disrespect to anybody. Why would you know what an over-the-top network is? How would you know that? If you're not working in it and you're not selling movies to different ones, how would you know? So the third one is getting E&O in insurance, winning the claim and getting the money for E&O insurance, errors and omissions insurance. I'm going to guess, and this is no disrespect to anybody, because if Idaho Farmer started telling me about farm equipment, I would be completely lost. I mean, I know what a John Deere tractor is, but I couldn't fucking tell you anything about farming equipment. That's just a world I don't know anything about. Well, I know what errors and omission insurance is, and I certainly got paid out on it. The trifecta. San Diego, winner. Leanne, winner. E&O insurance, winner. Nobody's ever even talked about doing a copyright claims board until I did it. So I would say that people are looking at me, Leanne, and saying, this guy's fucking accomplished something. What have you accomplished? You're not even monetized. The only thing that you ended up accomplishing in all of this was you did it first, putting out all of your family's information and getting your daughter subserved on camera in the fucking driveway in 15-degree weather with her. What if, in theory about this, Mr. X isn't a bad guy. I'm glad that you're realizing that. I'm glad that you're seeing that, because a lot of these people, they've known that for a long time. Sometimes I could be a bad guy pro wrestler wise, but I'm not a bad guy. People who know me know that. What if I was a bad guy? Your daughter was served. She was walked right up on and served. I'm not a bad guy. You were legally served, and that lady owns the company, so you didn't do anything to her. You have no proof of that, and you got punked, and you no-showed. And everybody said, Leanne's all talk after that. The same as, and by the way, the same as when Watch Her Crazy didn't show up in Vegas. The same as when Fumble Nuts didn't show up in Florida. You want to hear those repeats again? You brought it up. There's your answer. And by the way, with my girlfriend, it's not like it's a surprise of who she is. It's not like she's not in the fucking end of the movie in the credits. It's not like she's not in the end of the book, which, by the way, it's the same artwork. It's not like that's a surprise that you go and see us, kind of linked up in different movies and different intellectual properties. It's been very well known for years. You're not breaking any new news. And I can tell you this, Leanne, unlike your big, fat, droopy titties, I see that woman in the gym. She's in there with me. She's in there when I'm not in there. She's working for something better. Could we say that of any of your kids? Did they show up to the gym today? I know I was there. And every day as you're getting fatter and older and giving up on yourself, there's people like me out there working, getting better at you than streaming, better at you in a lot of things, Leanne. And I could sit up here and scream and holler just like Jim, but I'm just going to take it calm. I'm going to take it smooth and just say, listen, I'm better at this than you. And that's why, and you got outthought too badly. And I'll be the first to admit, Jim pitched in for it. Jim found a bomber process server. That lady was a great process server. Because, let's just say you had that lady serve the Mr. X in Palmdale in Anaheim. Well, I would have looked really like a dick walking up on that coward, which, by the way, you know what I heard? That review that was up there for that loser guy that was the process server that watched her crazy. I heard it came down. It's not like it can't be reposted 20 other places, but I think the point's been proven. I don't know if that needs to happen. So, it boils down to this, Leanne. You've lost. I think you should do the same as Jim. Instead of waking up on a Saturday morning screaming at Jim, do something with your life. Does your husband, well, I think your husband knows now what you've been doing. You don't think my girlfriend doesn't know what I do? Who do you think did the rhinestone jacket? Who do you think taught me how to do Canva or edit? She don't like the content. Everybody's different. She's not asking for any money.
Martina Queen, I hope you feel better, hon.
So, Johnny, that's essentially it. I've basically gotten through everything I wanted to say, but it's late too. But I'm not trying to be funny or make jokes or be ridiculous or scream or yell or try to make this some kind of over the top show. But the fact is, Jim's wronged a lot of people, and I you know what? Frankly, the people Jim wronged pre-Jim Terry TV on YouTube, those people are fucking losers. I really don't give a fuck about them. I don't care about Watch Her Crazy. I care about the people that Jim did wrong from June 15th till now. That's where he's got a problem. See, we're not haters because we're saying, hey, listen, everybody can walk. I mean, I was the one who was saying, listen, you should go and support him. Walk away from it. The best thing, Jim's making so little money. Jim used to tell me all the time, Johnny, he's like, I just want to get out of this. I wish I could get out of this. It's not worth me having my wife, in the bad. That's how I know things are going bad there. In a bad, because if he's yelling at me, he's yelling there.
Mm-hmm.
My wife in a bad, he might as well just walk away.
But Mr. X, me, you, Tex Granny, Barbara Buffalo, Rainbow Melon, Martina Queen, everybody that's still over here on this side has actually tried to walk away from him.
Yes.
But it seems like he okay, if this one thing's not working out, okay, so let me give you an example. Like if the one thing that he cannot accomplish, that he can't get to someone with that situation he's trying to pull, he's going to go a different route and go try to pull something out of his hat on that end. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, here's a perfect example. We talked about Confluence down in the San Diego Police Department and how she wouldn't stop with them because we heard that from Officer Beebe.
Yeah. She
just wouldn't stop. And in the court case, her son kept saying, this is the date you stopped and this and that. Do you know that petitioner is still filing shit even though it's over? Oh, he's not stopping. That's it. That's just how these people are. And Jim's very similar to these people. He's just not stopping. Well, I got to be careful what I say here because there's something that's going on right now that's probably going to stop Jim from doing this, from what I understand. There's actually like 2 or 3 things. One of which I've actually was a suggestion of mine. And then I said, why don't I just do it? And I did it. And I'm hoping that that's finished up by Monday or Tuesday. So Jim's going to be in a tough situation because really all that needs to be done with Jim is just to have him served. Because here's what, even if he was served a cease and desist, that means nothing. The fact that he could be served in that area and the fact that he wouldn't do what I do, he's not going to walk up on anybody and get their information and stand over them. And you know, I have a feeling that if Jim's either going to run or he's going to do nothing. He's not going to be a tough guy. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. Because here's the thing. He doesn't know if he's going to be served just with a cease and desist just to get him on camera, or if that process server is from Tony. I don't even fucking know. I don't know. But I know they're now closer than ever, and Jim thinks he's closer than ever from being away from the bastard situation, and he's not. He's not. See, once that woman gets outside, and I'm talking about Tony, I know guys that have gone bankrupt before. If you go bankrupt and it clears, what is it called? Like the trustee or something like that? There's like a judge that looks over it. If you clear that and they wipe everything clean, as long as it's not like a refiling. I'm sorry, not refiling, but like a reorganization. You start getting credit card offers and stuff almost immediately. That's what I've had people I've never gone bankrupt. I've had people tell me this. So like after that's wiped, if it's a full bankruptcy, I think it's 7, not 11. Am I correct?
Yeah.
It's 11. I'm sorry. I said it backwards. I don't know if Eric Murphy's here. He could correct me. Not that he's been bankrupt, but he just seems to know about a lot of things. How you doing, Tier? What's up?
How you doing? But let me tell you something, Mr. X. Let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
I don't understand the point why what did he keeps on saying that me and PZ bit the hand that fed us, okay? What did we ever do wrong? No, you called my phone, PZ answered it. All PZ said was to calm down, and then he went off on the deep end, telling PZ that he has HIV again. You know what I mean? And then he's like telling me shit. You know what I mean?
Well, Jim thinks he's like in control of something. And when you would thank me and Jim for like this, I said, no, dude, you did put the hours in. You know, you were there. You spent the time. You paid for the StreamYard. That's what I used to always say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he attacked PZ and he attacked you. And all you guys were doing was standing up for yourselves. It's not like you were being a dick. You're like, no, hey, listen, Jim, we're going to this is what I'd like Shark Hitter to do. We're going to allow this person to talk and we're going to mute you. Jim, if you're not okay with that, you're gone. There are going to be some rules here. And if this is my channel, the rules aren't what you say. See, let's just say you wouldn't have worked with me, Johnny. I'm not saying we're like got any kind of deal or anything, but let's just say things didn't work out between us and you just went over there only to Jim's. Right now, your life would only he wouldn't have done the stuff that he did to you, but would just be all hater stuff. It would just be all about hating. That's all it would be.
Yeah, Shark Hitter's already choose. I tried to text Shark Hitter today. He didn't even respond to me.
Well, I mean, I look at it like this, Texas Granny. Shark Hitter could do whatever he wants. I don't recall Shark Hitter saying anything bad about me or bad about Johnny. I give you an example. I think I've seen How You Doing over there in Jim's chat. I don't give a fuck. She's not trash talking me. I don't care if she's over there. I don't care. But I guarantee you, if Shark Hitter and How You Doing and this and that, and How You Doing's all over the place, so maybe she can get away with it a little bit more. If they were over there and being nice to me and throwing super stickers to you and stuff like that, Jim would attack them. So he could do it, but we can't. Not that we can't, we don't.
Yeah.
We don't do that. I'm not going to attack that woman. If she goes over there and gives Jim $20, I'm actually going to say, you know what? I hope that that's a worthwhile purchase for her. Like if she got $20 out of it, good for her and good for Jim. That's how I look at it.
The only thing that I don't want is if you're gonna come over here, don't advertise somebody else's channel.
Right.
Don't be over there trash talking us. Then come over here, act like nothing's going on, nothing's happening.
Right.
I'm telling you, PZ and I can't speak for nobody else, but I can speak for me and PZ that we are watching. We are watching. Okay.
Well, people say stuff to me all the time about that subject. And I even people who have trash talked me over at gyms and then come over there and try to be nice to me, I still try to be cool with them. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But I guarantee if it was the other way around, Jim would be looking them up in a heartbeat.
That's funny. Speaking of Shark Hitter, he said, he just texted me and says, I'm watching your show now, buddy.
Yeah, and he's around. Like, hey, I'm not saying anything, but I'm not saying Shark Hitter chose or I'm against him. But I called Shark Hitter up after that one show. I said, dude, you do your show. Who else would do this? Who else would say something like this? Dude, like, listen, I'm not asking to come on your show for 45 minutes, and really, I should have that opportunity. If Jim could trash me for 45 minutes, wouldn't it be fair for me to go on Shark Hitter show and trash Jim with no Jim? If Shark Hitter did that and did not allow Jim up, he would be talking about Shark Hitter the next day. Guaranteed. Fucking guaranteed. And I'm not even going to put Shark Hitter in that position because I don't want him to see the wrath. Now, some people might say he's scared, or doesn't want to, be in the middle of it. I can appreciate that. Even if I don't want to say scared because I don't want to make any man sound less of a man over fucking stupid YouTube. But the fact is, he just he got other things to deal with. He don't want to deal with that. So a lot of people just succumb to Jim because of that.
And Mr. Exton, I have never deserved what he is saying, what he's doing to me about going after my earnings, or whatever. He wants me to lose my Medi-Cal, and he wants me to lose he wants me to lose it all. You know what I mean? Yeah. I never did anything to that guy. I never did anything to him.
But here's the thing. Some guy that's out of state, that isn't your employer, that isn't part of what you're doing, you're not doing anything. In fact, the last time he tried to do that, I heard you got more money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they don't know who he is. He can't prove anything. I mean, everything is provable via these shows that are public. You could see it. And if you were making $5,000 a month over here or $5,000 a week, and they're like, well, Johnny's saying he's broke and he's getting benefits, but look at how much his YouTube show's making. He's making $10,000 a month. Like, I can understand that. But like, hey, by the way, do you see this? Here's the evidence. But it's within the parameters. What are they going to do? Listen to some guy who's going to call himself Eugene Terry?
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen any more than if somebody gives a $10,000, $50,000, $500,000 advance. They're going to say, yeah, Jim, I'm going to listen to you. I'm not going to listen to this guy that I'm in business with. Jim, when I look your name up, this is what comes up. When I look up Mr. X, this is what comes up. And Jim has you guys, I don't even know if you know this story or not, Johnny, but like every show that was on Jim Terry TV or Night Owl Network, I would put meta tags in every single show that were preset. So any of that hater stuff, you could do that on YouTube too. Like I did that with the Sam Hoger show. I put like UFC, Ultimate Fighting, Sam Hoger interview, Ultimate Fighter season 1, stuff like that. So people can watch the show and watch that interview that aren't part of what we do on a weekly basis. So I would do that for every Jim Terry TV show, XNN, Night Owl Network, every Crab Lakes Friday, everything that was over there. The reason I did that is because it made those shows and that content number one in the web crawler. Like Jim Terry, Private Investigator, Arena Football, Indoor Football. Now that's gone. He's lost all that. It's all gone. So like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of shows, probably 700-800 shows that had all meta tags that make him number one. Gone. And he could have kept it alive. The reason he didn't keep it alive is he wouldn't have had enough people to make it worth it. He's got, I mean, put it in this into perspective. He could barely get to 100 people at 5. He's bragging about being at 100 people at $5 a pop. We had more than that at 30, way more than that at 30.
Yeah.
He couldn't do 15, 20 members. The people who are fronting the bill for him now to pay to get him up to the, he couldn't get 25, 30 members now at $30 a pop.
Yeah.
And then you know what else he did? He burned the bridge with Indavo Media, who has only been cool to us. Like, were there fuck ups? They when they fucked up and people were getting the memberships for free, they copped up to it, and you know that was figured out. We still lost money on that thing, but you know that part of it. But it is what it is.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
very true.
I don't know. It's just real rough.
Hey, you know, Mr. X, my memberships are doing all right. You know what I mean? I don't have, and whoever is a member over here, I love it. You know what I mean? I don't push to get memberships, to push out memberships like he does. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Well, his is a rallying point of why he's doing better than somebody. And I look at it like this. I mean, 200 memberships at $5 a pop is $750 after YouTube takes their 30%. And I don't think he's anywhere in the vicinity of $700, 200 people. Okay. I made way more than that last month in just super stickers. So he's
hold on, Mr. X. Hello, Twisted Tea. How are you? Nice to have you here.
Yeah, and Shark Hitter, you don't have to apologize to me. You didn't do anything.
Yeah, you don't have to apologize to me either.
Yeah, the only thing that you did, and this is how you deal with Jim, and I just know it, you just got to stand up for yourself. Because the only thing that's going to happen is if Jim is doxing people like Texas Granny, or I'm not saying that happened. I didn't hear the show, so I'm not 100% sure what happened over there. It doesn't matter whose show it is. They're going to strike you. And Jim doesn't give a fuck. He's not going to send you any money. He's certainly not sending you any. He can't send you any people. He doesn't have any people left. Like, when's the last time, Shark Hitter, and I don't know if you're still monetized or not. I think you are. That one of Jim's people has come over and sent you a Cash App. And I'm talking about, like, not a Cash App, a super sticker. Queen of Ossian, Noodle Salad, Carol H. Like those kind of people that are still over there. Probably not often. Yeah, I'm aware of that. Barbara Buffalo went after his son. Yeah.
Yep, he went after my son too. My dead son. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you know what? And Jared don't have nothing to do. And you know what? He keeps on saying, "Where's his dead body at? Where's his dead body at?" He is in an urn now, Jim.
He's cremated like a while ago.
He's cremated, Jim. He's not in the morgue rotting himself to death at all. So you need to be quiet.
I mean, where's Andrew Cutica at? That's what I would ask you. Where's Leah at?
Oh, I got something to say real quick. Texas Granny or Barbara Buffalo, if you see a guy coming here named Robert C., get him out of here.
And I see your question, Donkey Dick. To answer, I mean, it's everything that we said it was, but I'm not going to get into proprietary information because it does nothing. You know, it doesn't. Proprietary information, and I'm even loosely, like I say, I earned more or whatever. It could only damage me. It's not going to do me any good to get into proprietary numbers. But I can tell you this: when I was leaving, upon me leaving, like I did that last show on XNN, it was the lowest I had ever seen it. It wasn't low, it was slowly going down, but it became very low when I said this is my final show. Maybe it wasn't the lowest ever, but it was significantly lower. Let me put it that way. It was significant because people knew it was done. People knew at first people like Rainbow Mountain, like, oh, you'll be back tomorrow. You'll make it. I'm like, you have no idea the level of what just happened. Like this is in, and then the haters jumped on. They start saying, well, has to do with a court case. Like, no. Nope. Like they're like Twin Mama and them were swearing up and down. They were wrong again. But they're dummies. I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah.
I could tell you this. I'll tell you this, Donkey Dick. There's no humanly possible way, from what I've seen, I've had people report to me, not that I'm asking anybody to report to me, they just do. Jim is making a fraction of what he was on doing YouTube and even getting what he's getting now, definitely before he was quote unquote monetized. In the last 6 weeks, Jim has earned a fraction of what he was earning 2 or 3 months ago. He knows that. He knows what I'm saying is true. And I'm not saying, Donkey, you don't know that, but like it's a fraction of that. And it's not guaranteed anymore either. See, that's the great thing about the OTT is you get it in 2 days and it's like guaranteed. Like even if you have a slow show or a shitty show or like, you know what, today's show, I'm just kind of not feeling it as much. I'm usually not. I'm going to keep it at 90 minutes. That's how Jim would do it. I would always be like, I got to do a minimum of 2 hours. I'm going to try to keep it around 3. And then sometimes it'd go beyond that. And it's like, it doesn't matter. Like I would always try to make it good, but it got to a kind of a point, and I saw this through Jim, that it wouldn't matter if it was good or not. People would kind of say stuff like, oh, he's doing less and less, and, this isn't that good anymore. And, it's starting to slip. But it was still guaranteed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, Mr. X, and let me tell you something. I have a total of 93 members.
Yeah, that's good.
It says total members right here, 105. It says my members gain was 72%. 72 up to 50%, 50% versus the previous 31 days.
And what I'm going to guess is a lot of those that you have, I mean, you might lose 20 or 30% of them. Some of them are gifts and all that, but I'm going to guess that a lot of those people have been around a long time. Jim getting, like, we've seen this with Angel Gotti before, like get up to like 800 and, that well-known local get you up real high. And then it just starts dipping because somebody was gifting all those. And then the next month, whoever was getting them, like Eric Foss is not going to pay for a membership the next month. He's living with his mom in a fucking trailer. You know what I mean? Like that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So Johnny, today.
How was your day overall?
Good. I went to the gym, went to the mailbox. Usually I go on Thursday, but I went today. When I went to that Orange County Fair, there was some stand there. It was like they had like different sodas, and they must have given me like 50 coupons for like these root beer sodas.
Uh-huh.
And I think they're kind of like an energy drink, but they have a couple different kinds. And I've just been going, and getting 3 or 4 of them every time I go in the grocery store. They're actually pretty good. I mean, they don't have I don't want something with a ton of caffeine in it, but they have like root beer and all that. So I picked up some of those, picked up some of my medication. He's on all these medications. I ran out. I hadn't picked up my finasteride in a while. Which is like Propecia, the thing that keeps the Mr. X hair. Yeah. Keeps all this glorious hair that I got. I'll tell you a quick story about Jim. there was a Jim and I were both in Florida years and years ago. This is how I first found out about it. I mean, I knew what Propecia was. There was a guy named Dr. Marcoux Medical. He was down near actually like the downtown Clearwater area. Jim's like, we should go see this guy. He does hair restoration. So I'm like, okay, let's go check it out. So we met him, and he says, well, are you guys both taking Propecia, finasteride is the generic, and Rogaine? And I said, well, I've been using Rogaine for years, but I've never taken Propecia. He goes, here's what I'm going to do. I'd be taking your money if I were to do anything for you. Start using Propecia and see how your hair works. I'm going to write you the prescription. So he wrote both of us one. And this is when I was in New Orleans, and I remember getting it, and it kind of saved my hair. And then Jim his hair was pretty much going, and he never did the work. Like he never took the Propecia or did the finasteride, and he just lost all his hair. Then when he was out here, he was talking about getting how people get those dots on their head. They're like tattoos. So it just looks like your head's shaved. You know, when your head's shaved real low, it's just like dots on his head.
Right.
So Jim was talking to somebody, actually, they were right up the street at LAX off Century. And I remember going to this place, and there was a guy getting it done. Jim's like, dude, what do you think about this? And I think it was a black guy. And I was like, it actually, on a black guy, it just looks like his head's shaved. It actually it's like kind of a tattoo. It looks pretty good. So Jim goes, he's like, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I got the money to do this. And he might have won some money gambling. Somehow he got the money to do it. And he goes somewhere up in like, I don't know if it was Michigan. Where's Prince from? Maybe it was Minnesota. It was one of these states. This is when he was going. This is 2018. This is when he was going to go see Laura. I think he went and did that first. And he did like the tattoo on his head because he was too lazy to take Propecia or use Rogaine. And I guess like within like 6, like it looked really good at first. It looked like just like, if you shave your head, if it's bald, it just looks like skin. But this looked like it was a choice to shave his head. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it looked really good. Within 6 months, it faded away. It just fucking faded away. And then he fought with the people, screamed at him, and they gave him his money back.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he's good at that. Have you been watching Weave, the Coyote, and Squirrel, and Duck?
Yeah.
He would be a good guy to get on the show.
Yeah, he would.
That coyote's pretty old. I mean, coyotes don't last super long. That coyote's already like 6 years old.
I just hope nothing happens to that coyote because he takes good care of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, that coyote can live another number of years.
Yeah.
What else you got?
I don't got nothing left, Mr. X.
Yeah, and I don't want to come on every show. I usually come on Wednesday nights, come on every show and talk about Jim again or talk about Leanne again. Like I'm just, it's just physically exhausting. It's just annoying. And maybe it's not exhausting. Maybe that's the wrong word. It's just annoying.
Yeah, Mr. X, there's a show that I was going through all my shows last night.
Yeah.
And I was laying on the couch like I usually do, and I was just going through some of my videos, and I saw one video that had Ty Corbin on there and King Samoan on there. And what happened was I uploaded it on my phone, downloaded it on my phone, and I uploaded it to YouTube so everybody can see it. And it got me 87, almost 100 views for playing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so me and PZ are gonna try some. You know how they like to. You know how people comes on a video, not going live like we are right now, but just going live, doing a pre-record show.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm gonna start working on and doing pre-record shows to see if I can, do something like walk around in my neighborhood and take my camera and just show everybody my neighborhood. You know what I mean? But I got to be real careful because I don't want nobody
Here's would be my suggestion because this is what I've noticed with this audience. if you just put a recording out and put it up, like they might watch it if it's 2 or 3 minutes, but if it's long, maybe not as much. The best thing to do is just go and shoot the video, bring it up on the show, and then talk about it live. That way, if I'm like, okay, stop it there. If I'm up here, or Mean Green's up here, somebody's up here, or somebody in the chat says, oh, what's that place? You could stop it, and it's not, and you have it within your show. That's what, like, I go to Thriftalooza, and if I'm not, you do a live in a place, it's kind of tough. Like I did it, because you don't know what you're going to get, if the audio, if it's windy or whatever. But by recording it, like when I went to that dog parade, like I could put that recording up, but the first thing I do is I show it in a show, and I just like talk about it while I'm showing it.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do for the concert. That's what I'm going to do for the concert. I
mean, I think that's the way, because it gives you a ton of stuff to talk about. What's going on with Mean Green, by the way?
She's doing good. She said she was a little tired today, that she had to do some things around her mom's house, and I think she's gonna come on the show tomorrow.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be around till later, like I always am. But
well, yeah, I understand that. I might push my show back till 7 o'clock anyway, because I came on tonight, so I'll push my show till 7 and make sure everybody feels comfortable to come up on the panel and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
So Jim, that's fine. And Jim does not have a paid StreamYard. Is that correct? It looks like he does. I thought he paid for it.
I thought he paid for it too.
I looked tonight; it was free.
Oh, really? How you know it's free?
Because I saw the duck in the corner. Unless he paid for it and kept the duck up, I don't know.
I
don't know. By the way,
I'm trying to learn how to take this little bear off right here that I have in the upper corner up here.
Yeah, like Chewbacca. Yeah,
my Chewbacca. How to take him off?
Well, I mean, it's very easy. Okay. You want me to tell you how to do it?
Yeah. What do I do now?
Okay, hold on.
Oh, I see what it does.
Yeah, you just bring it. You could click it and bring it up or down, or download another one. I think it's the aspect ratio is 1:1.
Yeah.
You could do that for free in Canva. Just put any photo in there, and it'll put it into that format. Yeah, there you go. It's gone. And then you could add like 5 of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I want to add one of a 5-finger death punch one too, though.
Yeah, I mean you could grab that. I'll just make sure it's
free.
Yeah, it'll tell you what in StreamYard what the dimensions are, and you could put the dimensions of whatever photo that you're grabbing in the free Canva. Go to canva.com and you can do it for free.
Yeah. Mr. X, let me ask you a question. If I deleted some of these shows off of StreamYard in here, well, they won't delete off. It won't delete off YouTube, right?
No, that's just like a cloud hard drive. You know what I mean? It's like having almost like a physical hard drive, but it's a virtual hard drive. So if you delete stuff off there, it stays on YouTube. But if you delete it and you didn't download it, the only other place you could ever get it would be YouTube. If you ever got struck or terminated, you lose it unless you're able to dig it back up. That's why I put all the shows on hard drives. I download all the shows. So I got like five different drives of like 10 terabytes. But if you have stuff that's short or something you just got rid of or whatever, or you didn't use, you could just delete it.
Yeah.
And it'll start. You probably got the 50 hours or 45 hours or whatever it is, the free one that comes with it. Because it costs $5 to get another 50 hours of like cloud space. The other thing is, don't forget Google Drive, which is free with every Gmail account. Mm-hmm. You could take the show, download it to your computer, and upload it to Google Drive. Then it would be over there. And I don't know how many gigabytes you would get there, but maybe 100.
Right. Hey, Mr. X, do you remember the Sci-Fi Center?
Yeah. Which one? Yeah, the one in Vegas?
No, the guy, I guess he's in Vegas. The guy that comes on, the Sci-Fi Center presents Midnight Express, open Q&A.
The black guy?
Yeah, the black guy. I'm still subscribed to him.
Yeah. I haven't talked to him. I talked to him maybe 5 or 6 months ago. The reason I hadn't talked to him in a while is, I know he was, I think it was before WrestleMania was the last time that I talked to him.
Oh, okay.
But I think he was moving something or doing something with his store, and I kind of lost touch with him. He had like wrestling outside of his store, and I was talking to him about that. But that was like the last time I talked to him. I haven't been over to a show in a while. I don't even know if he's doing shows anymore.
Yeah, he's doing a show right now. He's got 14 watching.
Okay, well, yeah, he's actually a really nice guy. He's got a cool store. It's very.
Oh fuck! I forgot. I have an interview coming up, Mr. X, because I really want you to be here because this guy, he's a good fucking guy. He knows outlaw video. His name is I'm not gonna give his name right now, but he's a good guy. I interviewed him before. They came on my show and he played music on my show. But we're not going to do it this time. How we're going to do it this time? He's going to give me his latest new version of his new video. We're going to play it on the show, and then I'm going to ask him to talk us through it. What kind of production was it about? What made you sing this song? How do you sing? How can you sing this song so fast? How do you do scream metal? You know what I mean? So he gets that real deep voice. He does it like that.
I mean, I don't know much about him, but like, yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, if I'm around, sure.
Yeah, his name is Descent Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. I'm trying to think. You mentioned that. I think that was it, but.
Yeah, but I don't got nothing else left. You got anything else left?
No, that's really it. I got through everything I wanted to get through, and hopefully we don't have to do this tomorrow night.
Donkey Dick, that's going to be a big problem getting Bad Joe Mysterio back because he's one of Arkansas's friends. So I don't know if I can get him back or not.
Oh, so you know what? I remember that I did talk to William recently because I asked him if he was going to San Diego Comic-Con. I did talk to him.
Oh, okay.
I said, are you going there this year? And he's like, no.
Oh, okay.
I told him I don't think I'm going either.
Yeah. I got a paid StreamYard. Yeah, Spanky. I got a paid StreamYard, Spanky Boise.
Yeah, the only thing that is StreamYard, I was thinking about paying it off for a year in advance.
Oh, really?
Thinking about doing it, yeah, because it saves you like how much, like $120 over a year.
How much is a year?
Hold on.
I think it's like what over $200, isn't it?
It's like if it's $45 a month if you pay it month to month, but I think it goes down to like $35 if you pay it for like a year in advance. So it's $44.99 for the core one, and if it's billed yearly, it's $35.99. It's 22% off. So whatever $35.99 times 12 is how much it would cost. But so basically, you are saving $9 a month.
Oh, okay.
So
Don't get it. Don Kid, I said I was going to say Donkey Dick. I'll talk to him and see if I can get him back over here, but I don't know if he wants to come over here or not because he's, like I said, he's Arkansas's friend. Me and Arkansas had a falling out, so.
Yeah, you save by doing it for over a year, you save $108.
Okay, over. So how much do you have to pay up front to get it?
That's what I was going to figure out. $35.99 times 12, and that's what Bob was doing. But the only thing is, if you get terminated, or you could always add another thing to it, or you decide in 6 months you're not going to do it anymore, you're stuck with it for a year.
Yeah.
So $35.99 times 12, it's really $36 a month. $431.88.
Fuck that! I can't do that.
Right. Or $431, or how much is the other one? $44.99.
See, I need more storage. That's what I need. I need more storage.
That costs $5 a month. For another 50 gigabytes for $5 more a month. That's what Jim and I were paying for. So $44.99 times 12 is $539.88 a year. So if you pay it month by month, you're paying $539. If you're paying it in a year in advance, you're paying $431. So it's like $109 savings. And sometimes they have deals too. It'll go down. I remember they used to have like a $25 one.
Yeah, they
don't have that anymore.
See, someone bought StreamYard. People bought StreamYard. Yeah, that's why the prices were going back up.
I have Donkey Dick have people use, purchase with, StreamYard with my affiliate link, and I got a little bit of money, but I don't know if I ever broke the threshold of whatever, $25 or $20. I don't know if I ever got that or not. I don't know if maybe I had like two. I think maybe Rainbow Melon and another person signed up off mine. But if you sign up for a new StreamYard, that requires you now to hook your YouTube up to a different StreamYard. I don't think you could have it on two StreamYards, and that takes 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. There's something else I got to do too. I gotta, because I got my store too, Mr. X. So I gotta sign up for that too.
Okay, yeah, put that on there. Yeah, that's always a good thing to have.
I'm thinking about not even having a store no more, because really there ain't no really people buying nothing at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not worried about what's going on with that situation that Jim's trying to do to me. I'm not worried about that at all, because I got my ducks in a row, and yeah. So,
well, like I said, he's running out of things to do, and the heat is being turned up on him on the outside and on the inside. Like, I couldn't imagine how bad it's going to be for Laura if she gets served for Jim.
mm-hmm.
Like, you have no idea when I got served how Jim was screaming at me like it was him getting served. I was like, whoa, it's okay. There's nothing that was done wrong here.
Yeah.
I talked to my attorney like almost immediately. I said, what's going on? Hey, what does this mean? Yada, yada, yada. Like, okay, it's not the end of the world. There's no TRO. There's, like what we talked about. Jim was freaking out. If Laura got served for him, that would be worse than Jim getting served directly.
Yeah.
Especially if she was served on camera. Not saying I'm going to do it, but I have a feeling somebody's going to get one of them too.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny. Well, I'm out of here too.
All right, Mr. X.
Thank you, Spanky, for coming in. I appreciate it. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Yeah, see you tomorrow night.
All right, dude, I'm out.
All right, out of here. See you, get out of here. Texas Granny, thank you for the 99 cents. Barbara Buffalo, thank you for the $1. Thank you again, Texas Granny. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Texas Granny, for coming in 4 times, and Barbara Buffalo coming in. You guys rock and roll, and you guys have a good night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night on Johnny TV. All right, good night, guys. God bless.